Family, what's good with you? It's your boy Milky Way J. Welcome back to another banger, and we got another One Piece conspiracy theory for y'all. And I'm not gonna lie, this one's a little bit of a more subtle, chill theory, but it do have me thinking. I'm not gonna lie. Where is the devil fruit tree? Where do devil fruits come from? Is it a tree? Is it farmed on a field? Do they fall from the sky? What's the real source? You feel me? And where is it? Ohara came and dropped a banger. He gave us his thoughts on what he thinks. I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely interesting. I want y'all to see it, so make sure y'all stay tuned for the whole video. Make sure y'all like the video if you like the video. Make sure you comment if y'all want to see more and what y'all want to see, and make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if y'all are new. If y'all can do those three things for me, then we ain't gonna have no problems. And if you don't got problems with me, I promise you gonna be good in life. I promise. Now y'all spread love to the people that mean most of y'all, and enjoy the video. Let's get into it. Another theory.
Devil fruits are the embodiment of people's dreams that grow on the treasure tree Adam on Love Tale. In other words, devil fruits, the treasures of the sea, are part of the One Piece. At least that's gonna be my current answer to the question what devil fruits are and where they originally come from. Yes, there is still a lot we don't know about these magical fruits that give people incredible powers, but there also is quite a trail of breadcrumbs for us to follow throughout the story as well. The most basic observation I can make when I look at a devil fruit like the Mera Mera no Mi is that this is a plant. A pretty extraordinary plant that will turn my body into fire, yes, but nonetheless a plant. It's a bad tasting fruit with a stem that didn't just pop into existence, but that had to grow somewhere. I think the Smile Factory on Dressrosa, that is actually full of important clues, is a great example for this. Now, as you know, it seems like devil fruits can reincarnate in a suitable fruit close to where the previous user died, fruit. As we saw with Caesar's pet Smiley.
That's such a terrible fruit, bro. In reality, I mean, obviously it's a artificial devil fruit. If you know, you know. The people who were forced to eat the small fruit, that's a life.
And probably when Blackbeard took Whitebeard's fruit as well. But these two are people who know way more about how these fruits work than most. And don't forget that they must have come from somewhere in the first place. So there must be some original source for them. What's up? My name is Manu, and even though I really don't have a green thumb when it comes to keeping plants alive, why do I still believe that this should be a tree and not, I don't know, a devil fruit ranch where you grow all types of devil fruits in different ways? Well, first of all, in Romance Dawn, the one-shot that was the blueprint for One Piece, Luffy's fruit was explicitly stated to have grown on a tree. But also because trees are one of the most important symbols in One Piece, similar to how whales represent Love Tale, as I discussed in my last video. We have the Sun Tree Eve, the Treasure Tree Adam, the Tree of Knowledge on Ohara, the Whale Tree on Zou, and the sacred trees on both Shandora and Wano that are believed to hold the souls of their ancestors. Now, what do you think do all these trees have in common? Yep. Trees in One Piece represent the Void Century and the Ancient Kingdom. Eve is connected to both Marijoa and Fishman Island, with Poseidon and Joy Boy's apology. Ohara was studying a poneglyph and the true history of the world. Both Shandora and Wano were closely connected to, or maybe even part of, the Ancient Kingdom itself. By the way, you also have the giant jack on Skypiea that holds the Golden Bell, as well as this weird giant tree on Wano that is the center of the capital.
Damn,
and we also have a number of trees that literally hold souls. This tree on Thriller Bark, as well as Kingbound and the entire forest on Whole Cake Island, again close to a road poneglyph. The Whale Tree on Zou is even more special because it combines both symbols, the tree and the whale. In other words, Zou is connected to the Ancient Kingdom and gives direction to Love Tale. And there is actually another really important tree in One Piece. This one right here. So, what does Drum Island out of all places have to do with anything? Well, plants in One Piece are closely connected to one specific group of characters, doctors. And this goes for devil fruits as well.
Hold on. This is something I might not. This is not something
Chopper
I've
is
noticed.
seen using herbs to make medicine and drugs.
This is crazy.
The mushroom
What?
that poisoned Hero Look, cherry blossoms, the herbs and medical knowledge in Torino Kingdom, Doc Q and his explosive apples, Crocus being named after the flower on his head, Law who wouldn't be able to do any advanced surgery like cutting drugs out of the kids without eating his devil fruit, and Belladonna on Amazon Lily being named after the flower Atropa belladonna, which is a medical plant as well.
ランブルボールの効力は3分。3分でお前を倒す
Then there's also Noland, who cures the Shandorans with his chestnut hat, and of course, the master of them all, Dr. Vegapunk. And so Drum Island is a very
And this is crazy because he made this video way before Egghead Island, and obviously we've had run-ins with, been hearing about Vegapunk for ever now. Where we are in Egghead, if you know, you know. I'm not gonna spoil because it is new, but shout out to
very
Vegapunk.
important link here in many ways. For one, there's the image of the giant cherry blossom tree, yes, but Drum Island is especially famous for its doctors.
Facts.
そうでしたか。かつての医療大国ドラムの。おほ。
Which got me wondering why. Yes, Chopper and Kureha are great doctors, no question about it, but what makes this country stand out from other doctors like Law or the island that Chopper went to train on during the time skip? Well, at least on the surface, there are two real oddities on Drum Island that make it special from a medical perspective. Dr. Kureha's long lifespan, as well as Chopper's rumble balls.
私はまだツヤツヤの130代だよ
The rumble balls are especially interesting to me because they seem to unlock the hidden potential in Chopper's devil fruit.
Those
And
remind me anime crossover. Those remind me of the food pills that Toji be eating. The special food
this young reindeer who was
food
studying
pills.
under a quack really come up with such an advanced technology all by himself? Or could there be some hidden knowledge on Drum Island about the real nature of devil fruits? I also don't think it's a coincidence that Blackbeard went there because anything he does is planned out really neatly. Also, remember that
That's a good
Chopper
point.
himself is
Blackbeard don't do
connected to
anything off the
trees
whim.
as
He-
well.
おめえはトニー
Blackbeard got a reason. He moved with purpose.
Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Why are there 3 big trees in the One Piece world that all have an obvious biblical theme? We have 2 trees called Adam and Eve, both of whom lived in paradise.
このサウザンドサニー号はな王者アダムで作った千の海を越える船だぞ
In this garden called Eden, there were 2 special trees. The tree of life that grants immortality, as well as the forbidden tree of knowledge. Just like the tree of knowledge on Ohara. And so Eve was tempted by a snake to eat an apple from the tree of knowledge, the forbidden fruit for which her and Adam were made mortal and cast out of heaven. And this snake is often seen as the embodiment of the devil. And now it's of course pure coincidence that the people of Ohara were called devils by the world government for their research.
小原に住む悪魔たちを抹殺せよ
What?
正義の名のもとに
Oh yeah, and I almost forgot.
All right. We gonna. That's not the only time someone was called a devil in this show. So are we cool with that? Let me know down in the comments below how y'all felt. But this is very interesting so
We're
far. This is
talking
very
about
interesting.
literal devil fruits here. Now, as you know, whenever Oda Sensei takes inspiration for his story, he never copies anything
goat
one-to-one,
right there.
but
That's a
gives things
goat
an
right
interesting twist. The story of Adam and Eve,
Hold up.
Christianity, Judaism, and Islam represents the original sin of humanity, being seduced by the devil and eating the forbidden fruit. In One Piece, on the other hand, the people of Ohara, like Robin, clearly are portrayed as good people interested in the truth and just painted as devils by the government.
Right.
And so I think it's clear that in the world of One Piece, the government, in other words, Imu, the Gorosei, and the other celestial dragons represent God, only that here God is the bad guy. The Tree of Knowledge on Ohara would then represent the sin, quote-unquote, of gaining the same knowledge as the government and how they came into power. As I've discussed in detail in this video here, there is a good chance that the life tree that grants immortality is the Sun Tree Eve that seems to be located inside the red line reaching up towards Merijoa. It might very well be this tree that gives literal immortality to the celestial dragons that live in quote-unquote paradise on top of the red line. By the way, as you know, Merijoa is located exactly where the red line crosses the Grand Line, dividing the world into 4 oceans. And even though I'm not very religious, I found there was this line from Genesis that reads, "A river watering the garden flowed from Eden. From there it was separated into 4 headwaters." Another very interesting reoccurring theme here that I completely overlooked at first is that of the forbidden fruit being an apple. The fruit of the devil being an apple. This pops up quite a lot throughout the story. You have Doc Q's apples, the Smile fruits all being apples, Smiley's devil fruit reincarnating into an apple, Enel the god eating an apple, and so on and so forth. There's definitely some sort of pattern here. So now the only aspect of the Garden Eden reference that has no clear role yet in the story is the treasure tree Adam. The story goes that God made Eve from a part of Adam, which would then suggest that the Sun Tree Eve was made from the treasure tree Adam as well. A connection that, by the way, Usopp also seems to make. Now, as Frankie explains to us, once, long ago, an endless war raged on a certain island. People died and the island was destroyed by a rain of bullets and left in ruins. However, the people kept coming back to rebuild their nation near a giant tree, the only tree that remained intact, and that tree was Adam. Now, not only does that suspiciously sound like the Ancient Kingdom to me, but there is also the idea of rebirth, not unlike the devil fruits themselves. So could the treasure tree Adam be the original devil fruit tree that grows on Luff's tail? I think a big hint here is its name, the treasure tree. Treasure makes me think immediately of the One Piece. Not only that, but devil fruits are called the treasures of the sea. And when you really think about it, treasure and trees are a theme in the story as well.
I mean, it's a show about pirates.
Nami's treasure is buried under Belmere's tangerine trees. The library on Ohara is under the tree as well. The road poneglyph is under the whale tree. You get my point. Also, as I've discussed in these videos, I believe that Luff's tail was the left eye of Jaya that was then swallowed by a giant whale and is now at the bottom of the sea. The other city on Jaya, Shandora, also had this giant sapling growing, at least until the Straw Hats cut it down. And if Luff's tail was at the bottom of the sea, that would explain why it's called the treasure of the sea and the fruits of the devil. After all, the Ancient Kingdom would have been the devil to the gods of the world government, just like the people of Ohara. And so these fruits now could float to the surface and then spread throughout the world. Now, at the beginning of all this, I mentioned that devil fruits are literally the incarnations of people's dreams. So what do I mean by that? Well, this idea is part of Yuderon's mega theory about One Piece that, once again, keeps blowing my mind every time I hear something new about it. The basis for this idea are Roger's last words. 人々が自由の答えを求める限り、それらは決してとどまることはない。You have inherited will, that is first introduced by Dr. Kureha back on Drum Island. Callback. I already talked about the possibility that devil fruits might actually inherit part of the previous user's will to whoever eats it. We have people's dreams and the passing of the ages. That means that people's dreams are inherited throughout the ages and never die. This idea is confirmed by none other than Blackbeard himself, who is not only an absolute devil fruit nerd, but also seems to be the only person who knows how to consume multiple fruits.
Facts, he is the only person that we know of.
this man's most important statement is that people's dreams never end. I think hockey plays a role here as well, because we know that people can manifest their wills into reality in this world. We also know that souls are not only real in One Piece, but that they are said to enter trees in the cultures of Wano and Shandora that are both closely connected to the ancient kingdom. Chapter 225, titled People's Dreams, where Blackbeard makes his famous speech, has Hachi on the cover page dreaming under a tree of making takoyaki on a deserted island, like the deserted island Love Tale. And in general, I don't think I have to tell you that dreams is one of the most fundamental concepts in the entire story. And so all the big trees in One Piece are collecting something. The Tree of Knowledge on Ohara collects wisdom, the Sun Tree Eve collects the sunlight, the trees on Shandora collect souls, and so I believe that the Treasure Tree Adam collects people's dreams. The dream to be a bird, the dream to be fire itself, or the dream to turn everything into a toy. All these abilities are just so fantastical and things that can only come from people's imagination. And Oda Sensei might have made this a quite literal part of his story. This would also explain why there are only Zoan Smile Devil Fruits. Yes, you can take the lineage factor from an animal and try to merge it with a human, but you can't make an artificial Logia or Paramecia fruit. Now, this possibility absolutely blew my mind, but it gets so much crazier when you look at the big picture. The idea that Love Tale and the Devil Fruit Tree are at the bottom of the sea is part of a much larger theory that puzzles together the biggest mysteries of the series. And that's why you really shouldn't ignore this video, because it'll make you question.
Okay, so that was an interesting one about the whereabouts of the Devil Fruit Tree and really the source of devil fruits and how important trees are in One Piece, which Oda's the GOAT. We know that by this point. When I tell you that man can write, that man can write his ass off. One big thing that I do love about One Piece is the symbolism. I didn't even think about like how important trees are in the show. Arc after arc, there's some sort of tree with importance or trees of importance or somewhat slight significance to the show. And you don't really notice that. Shoot, I didn't notice that until now. So I definitely think that's a W theory. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe to the channel if y'all are new and y'all want me to react to more conspiracy theories, especially the ones about the fiction, anime, however you want to spin it. If y'all want to see conspiracy theories, let me know in the comments below. Make sure y'all like and subscribe as well to show me that you enjoyed the content. And if you new and you rocking with me, love y'all, appreciate y'all. I'll catch y'all in the next video. It's your boy Milky Way J. I'm out of there. Y'all be good.